Yo, welcome back to Gamerovation, and today we're reviewing. Quick disclaimer, I'm a huge RPG fan, so I had a blast with this one. Sea of Stars is a brand new old style game that adds all the modern flair with extra mechanics and all the nostalgic in that little 16-bit frame. But with modern technology, you get some really cool animations from you and your enemies. As I mentioned before, it is a throwback to early RPGs and borrows heavily from Chrono Trigger. You know, that old game that's seen as the best RPG ever still after like 20 years. If you're familiar with Chrono Trigger, you'll see the similarities, but this isn't just an ode to older games. This is a fully fleshed out standalone game. And it's also to the point. The game is only about 20 hours, but those 20 hours are used more than well with an amazing story and interesting characters with many twists and turns throughout the story. It's sad the only thing really holding the game back is its combat. You can choose to control Valir or Zale as your party leader, but this doesn't affect the story at all, and you can actually switch at any campfire. Zale is a blade dancer attuned with fire magic from the sun, and Valir is a lunar monk using ice magic from the moon. But even though Garl and some of your companions you come into later are normal humans, they are very capable in combat, and specifically Garl, he keeps the party alive since he's a cook. The premise is the Solstice Warriors are the protectors of the world from the Fleshmancer, and Zale and Valir are tasked with defeating his last minion. Of course, it's not that easy. Turn to a life-altering adventure for our protagonist, traveling all over the world, traversing through many environments. Speaking of traversal through environments, this is what really shines for me through this game. I never really enjoyed just kind of from the time to time between battles type thing, if that makes any sense. But this game does it really, really well. Through climbing, jumping, swimming, steering a ship, are all things available to you when exploring. It adds another layer to puzzles, and the beautiful and varied environments make traversal fun and make sure you're engaged when getting to one objective to the next. When traveling, you can cook, rest, and hear stories at the campfire. When traversing through the world, you'll find ingredients to cook. When you find a campfire, these recipes have different effects and of course require different ingredients. In an early game at least, you can carry 10 dishes at a time. Also, this game has fishing, so it makes it a true RPG. There is no difficulty. It allows you to modify combat through artifacts. For example, at the start of the game, you gain an artifact that automatically heals you after each encounter. You can also buy more artifacts as the game progresses, such as removing the damage reduction when an enemy is preparing a spell. So if there's a certain mechanic of the game that you're really struggling with, you just kind of use the artifact to kind of give you that little boost. Speaking of spells, let's get into the combat system. Hitting A or X or whatever you use for your primary button when your character attacks increases the damage. Likewise, hitting A or X when your character is being attacked, it reduces the damage. The tell when you block is pretty obvious if you take your time and you're not really mashing X or A, and the game lets you know from the start this isn't mandatory to finish the game, but even though it was a small bonus, it helped me a ton. People have had a lot of complaints about the timing of the block window. It is very small, and enemies' attacks are really varied, so keep that in mind. You might have to throw on that automatic block artifact. You also gain MP or magic points for using normal attacks, and especially at the start of the game, MP values are very low, so no need to really have to manage it really heavily outside of combat, which I enjoyed. Like most games, you use MP to cast spells. For example, Valir's use the Moonerang, my personal favorite skill, that bounces between enemies, and you can increase the amount of times it hits by hitting A or X at the right time to bounce the boomerang again, and it progressively gets really fast. It's just a super cool thing to look at. If you've been watching the gameplay in the background, you've also seen there's a combo meter that builds while attacking, giving you access to combo attacks between characters. This combo meter resets after each fight, so even if they got 1 HP, best believe I was using that combo attack. Each character has a specific element they're proficient in, making every character unique and useful for different enemy types. Enemies can use spells as well. A roulette wheel will appear over their heads, letting you know what weapon type / element to hit them with to disrupt the spell. Each one you're able to cross out lowers the power, so it's worth it even if you don't have enough turns to fully disrupt the spell. These spells hit hard and often hit the whole party, so be careful. After completing the prologue section though, you gain the ability to imbue your weapons with the character's innate elemental type, making them break locks much easier. There also isn't a traditional knockout system in Sea of Stars. When your HP hits 0 in a fight, your character is knocked out for a specific number of turns, indicated by the star circling their head. Of course, there's items that can be used to revive a teammate, so you don't have to wait, but if you have a little bit more time, once the amount of turns has passed, the knocked out party member gets up with half their health. After each battle, you can see how much XP there is to the next level in the top right corner, and each time you level up, you have your standard upgrades that come with that level, but you also get the choice of increasing one attribute category even farther. Every character also unlocks an ultimate, and from the designs of this game, as you can see, you can bet they're over the top and amazing. Combat does get a little repetitive at times. You don't get massive skill trees for multiple characters like we're used to in more modern games, but since this game isn't super long, it didn't bother me as much, but it still had to be noted. Overall, Sea of Stars is a beautiful love letter to old style RPGs, with a new modern fare that really shines through. If you're an RPG fan or want to get into the RPG genre, this is a great place to start. I enjoyed this game, I hope you did too. Please comment down below how you felt about it or if you're going to give it a try. Also, let me know what other games you want me to review. Y'all have a good day.